Hey guys, I'm Dr. Paul Garcia, and I'm the owner and the clinic director here at Pacific Coast Kinesiology Center. We're a functional medicine center where we like to treat the difficult patients, the patients where maybe Western medicine or traditional medicine has failed, where when people are tired of just treating the symptoms and they really want to get to the root cause of the problem. That's what we love to do here. Okay, so today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about my top 5 benefits of intermittent fasting. Maybe you've heard by now of intermittent fasting. If not, likely you will, because it's a really big topic, it's a really important topic, and it can really make profound changes in people's health. Okay, so we're going to go over the 5 benefits that I have noticed on myself and that I see with my patients. Okay, so the first is what's called autophagia, okay, or autophagy. Autophagy, basically, it means auto is self, and phagia means eating. So this is literally when our body is eating itself. And that might not sound, appetizing, or it might not sound healthy, but it's actually very, very healthy. It's required in order for good health. Okay, so basically how this works is when we're in a fasting state, when we're not eating, okay, our body still requires energy. We still require energy for our cells and for our organs to work properly. And so our body needs to get energy from somewhere. So it gets it from itself, right? And with fasting, a lot of people mistakenly think that your body's going to get that energy from muscle. Okay, maybe you've heard like fasting. When you're fasting, your body, eats its own muscle, or your body wastes muscle. Well, we know this is a myth. This is absolutely not true. If you think about it, if you think about our ancestors, if they, were our hunter-gatherer ancestors, if they didn't catch, if they weren't successful on a hunt, and they needed to fast because that's what they did. If they were lethargic, if their muscles were wasting away each time that they fasted, they wouldn't fare very good. It would be, almost impossible for them to catch their next meal. So our body's very, very intelligent. It's not gonna eat what we need in order to survive. Okay, so we know during autophagy, when our body is fasting, our body's eating bad cells. Okay, this is very, very important to understand. So literally, it's kind of like spring cleaning, if you will, right? So if you're, during your daily household work, the garbage starts to pile up, and you take the garbage out, and every week the garbage man comes and picks that up, and that's great, right? But what if the garbage man didn't come? Okay, the garbage would start to pile up. Maybe it would be out in your backyard or in your garage, or maybe you'd throw it over your back fence, or maybe if in your neighbor's yard. Maybe you'd pile it, in the closet, and you might do okay with that for a while, right? But after a while, the house is going to start to smell. The neighborhood's not going to look so nice, okay? And this is kind of an analogy of what's going on in our cells, in our body. Our body with, our cells, when they make energy, they create some waste products, and these need to be taken out. And sometimes cells get damaged when they divide, and there's a lot of reasons why this kind of toxicity and cellular debris tends to build up over time. And in a fasting state, our body literally is looking for those bad cells to clean out. So literally, it's kind of like the garbage man coming every week and taking all that garbage away, taking all that smell and that unsightly garbage away. Okay, so autophagia, in my opinion, it's required. It's almost like essential for our bodies to stay healthy. We know through studies now that in a fasting state, your body will actually eat away tumors. You can fast away tumors. You can fast away growths like skin tags and moles and damaged cells. Okay, even cancer. We're showing that there's fasting tends to be an effective co-strategy for managing cancer. All right, so that's autophagy, right? Number 2, the second thing we want to talk about is brain health. Okay, this is probably the most, what I benefited the most when I started intermittent fasting was the light just kind of went on. I overcame a chronic health issue, and for a long time I had just this kind kind of ongoing brain fog that would come and go. Some days it would be good, but other days, it would be just this brain fog. It would come on in the afternoon, I'd get fatigued, and I'd wake up some mornings and just not be all there. And when I started intermittent fasting, literally, it was like the light got turned on. Okay, much steadier energy, and I didn't have that brain fog. Okay, and we know, again, how this works is there's a few different reasons why I think that it helps with brain function. One of them, there's a hormone that's called insulin degrading hormone. This is a hormone that breaks down insulin. And when we fast, when we're in a fasting state, that insulin degrading hormone increases. Okay, that helps to lower insulin, which we'll talk about, it's another benefit. But what that insulin degrading hormone does is it also eats away what are called amyloid plaques. Okay, amyloid plaques are they're kind of like a plaque that develops in our brain. It's a protein that gets crusty and almost like a scab in our brain. And amyloid plaques lead to Alzheimer's disease. They lead to dementia, to neurodecay. Okay, so with increased insulin degrading hormone, you actually can break away or dissolve away those amyloid plaques and protect your body from Alzheimer's and from that neurodegeneration. Okay, so really important. Also, there is what's called brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Okay, it's another hormone, and this hormone actually causes our body to create or to grow new brain cells. And when we intermittent fast, brain-derived neurotrophic factor increases. So we literally are creating new brain cells through intermittent fasting. Okay, so the third, number 3 is weight loss. And again, this is, I think, how most people hear about intermittent fasting or why they might decide to try it, okay, which is great, but don't forget about all these other benefits. There's so many more, much more health benefits than just weight loss. Okay, but intermittent fasting is really good for weight loss. Okay, especially what's called weight loss resistance. Where people have been doing all the right things. They've been watching their diet. They're eating a good, healthy diet. They're exercising. They're getting good sleep. They're taking care of themselves. But their weight's not changing. It's kind of that set point is stuck, right? And intermittent fasting can help to reset the body's set point, or the body's weight set point, to break through that stubborn weight loss resistance, and also to start getting those tough areas. Maybe you carry more weight in your butt or in your thighs or in your sides, and with intermittent fasting, it really kind of targets those tougher, those stored fat cells that our body, in normal daily activity, we don't get into that we don't break down that fat for energy, but with intermittent fasting we can. Okay, so weight loss resistance. Number 4 is hormone balancing. Okay, intermittent fasting is wonderful for balancing hormones, and the 2 hormones that we see that have the most effect with that are insulin and growth hormone. Okay, insulin. Okay, most people right now, if you have diabetes, if you have pre-diabetes, if you have insulin resistance, those are caused by high insulin levels. The last few videos that we did, we talked about, why high levels of insulin is not good. Okay, what causes it, and then what you can do about it. So one of the things that you can do with high insulin levels is to start intermittent fasting, because that will bring insulin levels down. Really important for preventing, for reversing, for curing diabetes, cholesterol issues, blood pressure issues, neuropathies, all the conditions that are associated with elevated blood sugar and blood sugar imbalances. And insulin and growth hormone are opposing hormones. So when one goes up, the other goes down. So if we have, in general, if we have too high insulin, which we know at least 50% of adults do, okay, then that means your growth hormone is going to be low. Okay, growth hormone is really important for maintaining muscle mass, for maintaining muscle tone, right? And so what we see with intermittent fasting, insulin goes down and growth hormone goes up. Okay, you can actually get a 5 times increase in growth hormone with intermittent fasting. And again, this is really important because our body, we talked about, we're not wasting muscle when we're fasting, we're actually maintaining muscle, we're in a way even building muscle, okay? So in order to balance hormones, intermittent fasting is amazing. Okay, and then the fifth reason, last reason that we'll talk about today is hormone sensitivity. Okay, so we talked a little bit about what's called insulin resistance. Okay, there's a lot of other hormones that our body can become resistant to. Okay, so there's insulin resistance, there's cortisol resistance, where it's a stress hormone that our body we get overwhelmed, we're constantly under stress, and then our body starts to almost require stress, in order to feel normal, right? Or you can have thyroid hormone resistance, okay, where you do blood work and your thyroid hormones are normal, okay, everything looks normal, but you have all the signs and all the symptoms of low thyroid. You have a hard time losing weight, you're cold all the time, you're fatigued, you have depression or kind of brain fog. Those are all common signs of hypothyroid. But then you go to the doctor, they run a test, and like, nope, your hormones are perfect. But one of the issues with that is hormone resistance. So in order for hormones to work, okay, so we're going to try to draw a cell. Okay, so this is a cell. Okay, in order for hormones to work, you have what are called receptor sites. Okay, so a hormone has to bind to a receptor site, and that sends the signal to the cell to increase its function. Whatever that hormone does, it increases the function in the cell. So, but what happens a lot of times is those receptor sites, they get dulled. Okay, it's like when you go to a concert and it's real loud when you first get there, but then over time it doesn't become as loud. Okay, next time you go to the concert, same thing. When you first go there, it's loud and it's like bothers you, but then you adapt to it, you become used to it, and eventually, if that happens, you can become deaf. Your ears literally become desensitized. So when we're constantly exposed to a hormone, we can get hormone resistance. And with intermittent fasting, it's like doing a reset. Literally what it does is it helps to resensitize those hormone receptors, and that makes hormones start to work again. A normal level of hormone now all of a sudden is working much better than it did before. Okay, so we don't have to rely on taking estrogen, or we don't have to rely on taking testosterone or these hormones that we're taking. Our natural the amount that our body makes now all of a sudden does the job. Okay, so again, those are my top five benefits of intermittent fasting. In the next video, we'll talk about exactly how to intermittent fast, maybe who should intermittent fast and who shouldn't. Okay, we know kids shouldn't intermittent fast. Pregnant women shouldn't intermittent fast. Pretty much everybody else could intermittent fast, but there's some caveats. So in the next video, we'll talk about the people that should do very good with intermittent fasting, and the people that have to be a little bit careful, and some tricks when people are struggling and they need to kind of ease into the intermittent fasting process. We'll see you on the next video.